Please be advised that the opinions and views expressed are that of the individual dancer and not necessarily a reflection or representation of the host. Any advice given in the podcast should be taken as friendly conversation and not professional help. All video content has been provided and approved by the individuals and should be viewed under viewers' own discretion. Let's get into today's podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Danny and we are doing part 2 of what it's like working on a cruise ship. So today's focus is going to be all about working on the cruise ship. If you want to check out the rehearsal and the preparation for auditioning for it, I highly recommend you check out part 1 on the podcast. But without further ado, hi Danny, how are we?
Hello, did you miss me?
Good, of course I did.
Back again, yes. And this time I'm actually in my cabin, so you can see a little bit of it
Woohoo!
in the video. Yep.
I like it.
In its massive space that it is. So, but yeah,
The mansion that it is.
the mansion that it is, absolutely, yeah.
Why don't we talk about like going from the final rehearsal period and then to boarding the ship? Do you want to like talk us through that process? Because I know you guys do like a final dress run / rehearsal run before you go. So do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, so what casts usually do is like an office run. So they'll do it once they've learnt it and everything's been prepared and the singers and dancers come together as well. They'll do a big office run and they'll do it for not corporate, but like the big people in the company that are there. And you'll do an office run, they'll double check that everything's okay, which usually obviously is. And then some of the other casts, if they're like free or if they've had a big day, they also get to like come in and watch as well. So you get to like support like other casts in the company, which is cool. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole deal after you learn it. And then you'll go back to the apartment, you'll pack up all your things, and then you'll head off to your ship. With my cast, because once again we had a bit of a weird situation, a unique situation if you will, we didn't really actually get to do any office runs because we were only in the studios for 2.5 weeks. So we did get to like watch a couple, but we definitely didn't have time to do anything. And then obviously we did rehearsals on a ship, so then we went straight from one ship to the next. But usually you'll just go back to your apartments or your hotels, wherever your company puts you. You'll pack all your things and then it's usually like a flight the next day. It just depends on what like the schedule is or where you're flying to. Yeah, if you're working in the States, which is what I've been doing the last 3 contracts, if you're international, you have to fly out to come back in. So to like re-enter on a visa, it's like a very weird situation. But so we had to fly to Cabo, Mexico, to fly to New York to join one of the ships. So it was, it's definitely odd, but it's some kind of law within the US. So that was my personal experience that I had to do to fly onto the ship. But once you're on the ship, you get sorted into your cabins. Sometimes I obviously only know from like the company that I'm with at the moment, but we got settled into guest cabins for our handover period. And our handover period is when you're on and the other cast are still on, and you basically share the schedule to install your cast into some of the items on the ship, and basically to finish handover for the other cast and essentially hand it over. And do the rest of your costumes and finish the shows and wash wigs and things like that. Again, I think every ship's different with who does what. But yeah, the company that I'm with, we do half and half. So they'll do sail away on the first night. And then depending on how long the cruise is, if there's a show on that night, obviously the outgoing cast will do that show. And then you will have rehearsals straight away the next day. And you'll go straight into blocking it on the stage. You'll go to the theatre, start blocking it, learning your numbers and where you're meant to be standing, and just going through the whole show, installing it. Once you've done that, maybe like a day later, a couple days later, then you'll do costume fittings and dress runs, and then you'll pretty much install at least one show, sometimes two. It depends on how long the cruise is or how many shows there are. And so you'll install one, so you'll get to see the outgoing cast do one or two, and then you'll do one or two, so you get to see each other's casts and meet new people, which is also great within the company, especially for people like my cast who were doing the triple and we were with the same people for 18 months. It was nice to meet different people from the company who were also either new or had been with the company for like a very, very long time. So yeah. But that's pretty much the handover process, which is the first process that you do when you get onto the ship. And then after the handover cruise, however long it may be, you will get sorted into your own cabin.
Yep.
Like so. And yeah, and you work out with your cabin mate, who's on top bunk, who's on bottom bunk, which drawers you want to use, and and most likely you'll be able to like pick who you want as your roommate. Like you'll be able to pick. Yeah. I once again, I'm not sure about other companies, but for what we were able to do, especially because it was a triple, we did get the option, like if you did want to swap out every like contract, so then you had different people, you were more than welcome to, but we just stuck to it. But my roommate and I are actually like the longest, we say that we're the longest standing couple in the triple. Because we're the only two that have stayed together the entire time, because we've had different people like leave and come back, things like that. So we're the only two that have stayed together the entire time, which is hilarious. But so we did get to pick, but obviously it depends. It also depends on like how many guys are in the cast, how many girls are in the cast, because unless you've been signed on as a couple, you will share with like the same sex, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right. They try to avoid couples coupling up with different genders. Yeah, right.
Yes. So you won't share, like, let's say, like with my best friend Lucas, like they would never let us share a room unless we were signed on, like on a contract together, or if we were like dating. And you also have to be with the company. And if you start English. If you start dating someone on the contract, and let's just say that he was in the cast and I started dating a guy, if you've been with the company for, I think it's a year, you can request a link, and then they would sign you to the same cabin.
Cute.
If that makes sense. So yeah, like little bits and pieces like that, but we were able to choose. I don't know what it's like for other people, or if everyone's just kind of happy with whoever, then the cast manager will probably just choose and just pop you into a room. But yeah, so that was pretty much it. But me and my roomie, we were there from the start. And going strong. Never left each other. We've only got a month left to go, so we've done pretty well. So yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
1 month left to go.
That's also crazy. 1 month to
but
go.
I'm also very excited.
I feel like everybody's saying that. They're like, we're really glad you're enjoying your time, but also thank fuck that you only have
100%.
a month left. And I'm like, I'm coming home. I promise, I'm coming home. But yeah.
I just want to quickly backtrack. When you were talking about the rehearsal period, when you were doing like the handover, were you meeting with the old cast as well? Like, did you have like the person you were kind of going to be taking over guide you through like this is this part, or was it more so from the choreographer's perspective, and you'd be like, you just have to go here, and they just watching you on stage? Like, talk us through that process.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Once again, it depends on what kind of a show it is. The shows that we do, like each track that you learn has a name. When they obviously installed the show, when it first opened, that that track has that name. And there are certain shows that at the start the choreographer will go, "You're Emma," and you go, "No problem," and then you're Emma for the entire show. But there are also shows where in every number you will flip, but it also just depends on the dance supervisor, whoever's like teaching you the show. Some of them are really like true to the book, and they will stick to it, and so they'll go, "I like you as Emma," and you'll be Emma for the entire show. And then some supervisors will swap it out. So sometimes it does get hard if you know you're trying to compare with the other cast and be like, okay, like who are you? Like, can I have some advice? Or I've never done a role like this before. So some shows definitely it's actually really easy to be like, okay, cool. Like you're me, I am you. You tell me everything that you learned, or oh, I do it this way. Like, how did you learn it? Things like that. But most of the time, a lot of the shows they'll kind of just like swap you through. So, we usually get like before you even install it. Usually, the first night you'll do costume fittings. So usually, it depends if it's like if it's specifically tracked. Like if the costumes are tracked, you'll find out who was that role because obviously you're about to install that show. So you're not going to see the other cast do it. You're just going to do it straight away. So sometimes you'll get costume fitted to like, let's just say, I don't know why Emma keeps popping into my head, but Emma's costume. And I'll see that I'm Emma's track for this or she fits me best. And so if you're confident enough, you've only obviously just met this person, but if you're confident enough, you can absolutely go up to them. And most of the time, everybody's always like really nice and offering advice. Especially if it's like your first contract, and they will absolutely like let you know like tips and tricks, or if there's like a quick change, how did you do the quick change? Where did you quick change? Things like that. But for a regular show, you kind of just figure it out yourself, to be honest. And then obviously everyone learns it differently. Even different dance supervisors teach it differently. So but if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to like ask the other cast, but you don't have a specific like training with the other cast where you link up with your person. The only show that we had that for was we've got a show called Magic to Do, and you're one character and you're that character for like the entire show. So when we first learnt it, we got together with our people. So like I'm still doing the show. But my character was the fox, and so one of my friends that is in that outgoing cast her name's Mia, and she was also the fox. So Mia and I got together during a rehearsal period, and she took me through, and we literally started from the start. She went, okay, cool. Here's where we come out of the pit. Then we walk over this way because it's a massive musical theatre show, and it's a lot, like a lot's going on. You've got costume changes here and there, and you've got to, because I'm a fox, I've got like ears, and then I've got a coat, and it's very weird, but you have to go through it and be like, I leave my ears here because then I can run around to do this, and my gloves are over on that side, and you got to set this in the pit. So we definitely, for that show, we went through with not our opposites, but like our people, our same character. And we went through the entire show. But that's the only case we've ever had that kind of a one-on-one situation where it was like a little bit special, but otherwise most of the time you kind of just figured it out by yourself. We also had a show on the Emerald, which is the ship that I just did, called Rock Opera, and we had specific tracks for that one as well. So you were that one track pretty much the entire time. And so I was the ballerina, and it's only me, only the one of me. And I was kind of like the narrator of like the story. So whatever I did, nobody else did. So when I first learnt it, I was like, what the heck is going on? So when we got to that ship, one of my mates, Courtney, was the ballerina. So I went up to her, and I knew it was her because, friends on Instagram and stuff like that. So I tracked it down as soon as we got there, and I went, tell me everything. I want to know how you learned it, because a lot of it was very stylistic as well. So definitely seeked a lot of advice from her, which she was amazing at. But yeah, so if there was things like that, you kind of get to play with it a little bit more and see like who that person is. But otherwise, most of the time, you're just kind of like flipping between like dance tracks in the show, and you're just kind of figuring it out for yourself. So
awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun. Well, why don't you talk us through like a specific, like just a classic day, and maybe go through like the different types of days that you have. So I know you have like your import days kind of thing, and then you got days off, and then you got work days, and why don't you just talk us through that kind of thing?
So when you're on a ship, just like today, like for example, Siobhan and I trying to organize this podcast, Siobhan trying to be like, how about Tuesday? And I'm like, I don't know what day it is today. So usually when you're on a ship, you'll have exactly what you said. So it's a port day, sea day, and you've got a turnaround day. So your turnaround day is your home port. It's where your ship docks. You get all your current guests off and you get your new ones on. So that's your turnaround day. You'll usually do some kind of sail away dance party thingamajiggy. But that's your turnaround day, and that's usually a very early sail away as well. So if whichever port you're in, you'll usually have to get on the ship a little bit earlier than usual. But that's your turnaround day, and usually as well, it's usually you getting groceries or being like, I need chips. There's no chips on this boat. Like, or you need cheese. Sometimes you just get cravings because you're in the middle of the ocean and you just you want regular things from the supermarket. So random little knickknacks like that. And then you got sea days and you've got port days. So obviously, depending on what the cruise is and how long it is how many days you'll have of each. But an average port day as a dancer, we are very lucky. We have a very flexible schedule, especially as well because the shows are at night. So even if we have a show on a port day, we're able to go outside and enjoy the port, which is, the peak of the job because, you do this job to travel. So it's absolutely like one of my favorite parts of the job, being able to go outside and see things and do tours and just see the world. It's just, amazing. But some companies do, like for their shows, will have, not a rehearsal, but like a tech run, before the actual show. We don't have that at Princess. We only do tech runs before big shows that use a lot of tech, I guess you would say. So like Magic to Do is our massive one, and a lot of the pits move and a lot of production are working during that show and dresses and things like that. So we will always have a tech run before we do Magic to Do. So if it is on a port day, your port day is obviously cut short. You'll come back early, or if you don't get off, you don't get off. And then you'll do your tech run, and then you'll get ready for the shows because most of the time, like, the tech run's a bit close to the show, so then you kind of have everything lined up. But otherwise, we're pretty lucky. We just go straight into, you're obviously, expected to know the shows like the back of your hand, and you shouldn't need a tech run. The tech run isn't for you to know things, it's to make sure that everything's running smoothly. So the sound and the pits, like big heavy things that we do tricks with, so like big ladders and then lights and projectors, things like that. So if a show is very tech heavy, we will do a tech run, but purely for that, not for you to go over the show. You need to know the show is essentially what that is. So you're just expected to know it. It's not a dress run. It's not for you to fluff around. It's for everyone to make sure that everything is working. Nobody's going to get hurt. And so that's usually what we do. So out of the shows that we have on this ship currently, it's just the Magic to Do. So we will do that. But otherwise, on a port day, you're free to roam. You're free to go. The only thing I will say, because I did not know this, so I think it's very interesting to know. It's very interesting to know. So as crew on board a cruise ship, you have this thing called an IPM. So your IPM means that import manning, and it means that you have to stay on the ship. They sometimes are coverable, so people who are working on the ship who aren't on IPM can cover you, but they have to be within the same like safety responsibility. So not in case the ship goes down, but in case something happens and an emergency strikes out, that you would be able to help the ship in an evacuation or anything like that. So IPM is a thing, and I had no idea. So, because it's great. As dancers, we're like, we can get off the ship and life is great, blah, 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 blah. But you also are on IPM, and it depends which ship, it depends which company, but like we have 2 people on IPM every single time. And it is sometimes easy to get cover because there are obviously people that have to work on the ship. They're scheduled that day. They can't get off anyway. So, sometimes you can pay them to cover you. Sometimes they'll just cover you if you're mates with them. It just depends. But IPM is a thing, and dancers are included in that because we're usually, not responsible. We are responsible, but we're usually quite sometimes. But we're usually quite vocal and confident. So I think that's usually why they do put us on like safety type of things as like communicators or recorders and things like that, so we can talk to guests. And I think we're probably, besides activity staff and cruise directors and things like that, we're the most confident because we're on stage all the time. So if you did put a microphone in front of us, we'd be like, oh, okay, it's an emergency, I've got this, and like, you know, ready to help. So
Yeah.
IPM is a thing. So if you're on IPM, you stay on the ship, you know, you go eat some food, you go relax. If you're in Hawaii, you can go onto the little crew deck, you can go tan, you can go on the pool. If you hate the sun, stay inside. So you can really do whatever you want, just as long as you have to stay on the ship.
Yeah,
But
cool.
that's a port day. And sea days, it just, once again, just depends. But I like to stay busy. So personally, a sea day for me is sometimes actually quite busy. I do secondary work, which is like part-time work that we are allowed to do that we get paid extra for, which is great. A lot of ships don't have secondary work. Like some dancers can't do secondary work. It's not available to them. Or some dancers are also activity staff and like crew staff, and they'll have to do things that are just a part of their job. But as for me on this contract on this ship, I'm just a dancer, so I'm able to do these secondary work. So you're basically just helping out the other departments. So you've got like the youth center, so like helping out with little kids, especially like on the shorter cruises, like 5-day cruises, it's just like families, just so many children, as
So
they
many
usually
children.
need, and they usually need help, so they usually go towards the dancers, because especially on a sea day, if you don't have a show, like, you're not really doing anything. So the
Yeah.
youth center is a good one. We have an art gallery on board, which was crazy. I had no idea we had
Oh.
that. We have an art gallery on board. So I think most ships do. I'm not going to say all of them do because I've not been on all the ships, but I'm assuming most of them do within all the companies. But we have an art gallery, so I help out doing, like, they have like little raffle tickets and booking appointments. So yeah, it depends how busy the art galleries usually get, but they usually have 2 helpers for that. So we just have 2
Yeah.
dancers. Once again, my roommate Megan and I, we do that because the 2 of us like to stay busy.
Cute.
So we have that at the art gallery. There's, what else do we do? There's like the shopping show, so like the shops on board. The shopping concierge manager will get you to help. It's actually only me and then 2 other girls help with a shopping show that we have, but you just help out, like handing out pendants and like, here's a free gift, come to the show, blah blah blah.
Nice.
It's really easy work. Like, it's not strenuous at all. It's a bit of fun. It gets you to know a lot more people from different departments. Sorry, don't mind me. But you get to meet, a lot of different people from around the ship, and it definitely makes the whole experience not easier, because it's not. I mean, it is hard, but it makes it a more livelier, and it kind of adds to the community that you have like on the ship, because you know, you walk past and you're like, oh, like, hey Dan, like, hey Craig, like, people as you walk through the ship, and it definitely, especially for me, like, it's like that cool little thing, that one cafe that you go to at home, and you go there every morning before work, and you get a coffee, they know you by your first name, like, it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and people and things like that. So definitely a highlight for me is doing secondary work and knowing people from other departments. But yeah, and there's a few others that you can do. What else do we have on this ship? What else do I do? Helping people with the internet. That's a crazy one. I hate technology, but for some reason I help people with their internet, so that's
I
hilarious.
mean, that one really surprises me because I know your track record with technology too, and
I
I'm like,
hate
how?
technology. I don't know, honestly, like, I don't know how I do it. And sometimes you just palm them off to somebody else. But yeah, but that's also a big one. A lot of hours are in there, especially, like, we have a lot of these Hawaii cruises. We have a lot of old folks, so a lot of them are like, I don't know how to do this. So you're like, okay, turn on the Wi-Fi, bang, done.
Animal stick.
Crazy, yeah. So yeah, helping out with things like that. And then some of I don't personally because I've got too many jobs already, but some of our crew, some of our cast do like dance fitness classes, so like Zumba style.
Oh yeah, cute.
And then one of our girls, Haley, she does little like cha-cha classes, salsa classes, a waltz class, um, for the guests, which is, just so cute. And then they get to know you. They come to the shows. They're like, I did her class. Like, they love it. So,
Yeah, love it.
yeah. But if you want more work during the day, like especially sea days, it is available at least on like the ships that I do. And I know obviously
Yeah.
Princess, but I know that a lot of companies are different. So you just see what's available when you get there. And if you're interested in it, I would definitely just ask about it. Because especially on my first ship, I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
But we had a couple people in the cast who were like, I do this one, like, you can do this if you're interested. I know this person. Do you want me to reach out to them? So yeah, it was good once
That's
once I
amazing.
got there. Yeah, and it's a great way to earn money, especially like once again these bloody long Hawaiis. They're so long, 16 days. We have 4 sea days there. We've got 5 sea days back, plus Ensenada. Then we have one more sea day back. So it's kind of crazy. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many sea days. So definitely doing these kind of cruises, I just looked for the most amount of work because it keeps you busy, keeps you active, and then you're not sleeping all the time, which you can do if you want. Absolutely. Do what you please.
Yeah.
But we do have the luxury of getting paid extra for things, which is awesome and honestly a great way to save money as well. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
amazing. I don't think many people know that there is those opportunities on the ship for
yeah,
dancers. Like obviously it depends on what ship, but it's good for people to know that there is other opportunities that you
yeah,
can really, yeah, as you said, save money and keep yourself busy and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff, which is great.
yeah. But otherwise, yeah, if you're like, I'm not interested, I'm here to be a dancer, I don't want to earn any extra money, I'm good with what I get. Um, a lot of people just like, like we go to the gym pretty much every day. Just going to the gym, walking around, doing laps, reading a book, going outside for some fresh air, obviously eating. Eating's
Yeah.
important.
Important.
There's food everywhere, so always eating. But yeah, so the day honestly just depends on what you fancy. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty much your
awesome.
sea day, your port day, and your turnaround day.
Yeah, awesome. Do you find like it's also very easy for dancers to maintain their fitness, or how do you go about keeping yourself on track as a dancer and making sure you're keeping upskilling? Because obviously you got to come home at some point as well. You don't want to kind of come back and be worse or in a lull. How do you mentally get through barriers of doing the same thing every day and keeping yourself accountable?
Yeah, absolutely. It was hard the first time you do it. It definitely takes a while to get used to. Um, Especially because you're on a cruise ship and it's your first contract and you're excited and there's a buffet and you're eating all this food at the buffet because your mind's like, I mean, I don't know if anybody else thinks like this, but maybe because I'm Greek, I also thought like this. But I was like, there's so much food and I have to get my money's worth. And then I was like, wait, I'm getting paid to be here. You don't have to eat all the food in the buffet. Like, that's ridiculous. So I think personally for me, because I wouldn't say like I eat a lot, but I like a lot of different foods, and so coming on a cruise, it was hard for me to maintain kind of eating healthily because
Yeah,
also as dancers you get the privilege to eat in guest area. Again, every ship is different, every company is different, but we had the privilege of eating upstairs with the guests in the buffets. And so sometimes, because they're guests and they're on holidays, sometimes you have like a lot of like oily foods or, foods that you probably shouldn't be eating every single day, like how at
yeah,
home you shouldn't eat McDonald's every single day.
yeah,
So it was, for me personally, it was overcoming eating healthily because it got to a point where I was like, that I would feel honestly just crap all the time because I'm eating
yeah,
shitty foods and then I'm trying to knock out, 4 shows in a week. And I wasn't getting the energy that I needed, and I would be
yeah,
crashing, and then I would be buying sugar, and then I would just be eating sugar. So it's not the same like when you're at home and you have a full-time show and you're kind of like building up to it and you have, that one show day. It's not the same. You can't live off candy. Like it's not the reality, and you can't you work out so much that, you can eat a burger, you can eat, chicken tenders every once in a while, but you really do have to make sure that you are eating things that maintain your energy and give you energy,
Yeah.
because that was a massive thing for me. And then I would be just exhausted all the time, and then I would be sleeping. Like if I wasn't working, I would just sleep. And then sometimes, because I was so tired, I wouldn't eat because I wanted to sleep.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
then your body's all out of whack. So
Yeah.
definitely starting, it was hard to understand what I should be putting in my body. And then trying to find the balance of, okay, you're overworking yourself now because the first month that you're on board, you're installing. So you're doing costume fittings, rehearsal, costume fitting, like all the time. You're working all the time. So then it's trying to find the balance between doing that and still going to the gym, because then your muscles are tired, you're going to get injured, you're not eating enough, you're eating too much, you're not eating the right foods. A lot of things go into it. So definitely first starting, it's kind of just taking a step back and looking at, okay, like, do I need a food plan, or can I just kind of work out, all right, I need to have at least some kind of veggie on my plate, some kind of protein on my plate. And you know what? Yesterday I didn't eat a dessert. Today I'm going to eat a dessert because you know what? Because I deserve it. So there was definitely those kind of mental struggles as well, where I was kind of like, well, no, like, Dan, like, you're trying to be healthy. Like, don't have a cookie today. But then I would find myself maybe like craving it. But then at night, then I would snack because I was like, then I was hungry because I wasn't eating enough. So yeah, it's a very weird thing. It's a very fine line, but getting on board for the first time, it was just navigating food, like not overworking myself, because also that was a massive thing for me. My roommate and I, Megan, used to get in trouble for it all the time because we used to overwork ourselves. But making sure that we don't overwork ourselves, eat properly, and then everything would kind of come together. I don't know what the question you asked me was. I'm like, oh my god, I just went on a huge tangent. Sorry about me.
That's good also for dancers to know, because I feel like these are the things that dancers don't really think about and doesn't really get spoken about. So I think it's important to talk about them.
Because you can cook when you're at home, but like when you're here, you can't cook. You eat what's available. So it's it gets exciting. But then after a while, you're like, oh, now I don't know what to do. So yeah.
What about like the mental, like obviously you got, like, say for example you've got 1 month left. What's your mental state of coming back home and preparing to, because I'm assuming you're just not like you want to stop dancing or anything. So what's your mental state of making sure that you're keeping up your skills and all that kind of stuff, and your motivation? Because I feel we, as dancers, we get to a certain point, we don't know what we want to do. Like there's a point where we're just like, what do we do? Like, it's not making me happy, this sort of thing, or that kind of thing, or what's next kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, I'm in a bit of a unique position because of the triple. I haven't had a lot of time at home. So doing this last stint of the triple, the last couple of months made me, like, I made myself think about what I want when I get home and what I need. And it was definitely, for me personally, it's time at home. Because I haven't had, between my first and my second one, I had 5 weeks at home. Which kind of sounds like a lot, but if you're away for 7 months and then you're home for a month and a week and then you're gone for another 5, it's not really a lot of time. So then, and then in between this one I'm currently doing and the past one, I only had 3 weeks at home. So, granted, I did go for a mini holiday. I did see my friend in Dubai. That was on me. But realistically, like, I would have only had like 3.5 weeks at home because I didn't go to Dubai for long. I went there for like 3 days. So realistically, I would have only had 3 weeks at home. So for me, coming on this one, and being the end of the stint, I really realized that I wanted more time at home. because you can, when you get your preferences for the next ship, you can ask for something that's, within a month. You can ask for something that's within 2 months or 3 months, or, come back to me and I'll email when I'm ready. So for me, it was trying to work out, number one, if I wanted to do another one. Number two, when. And number three, what I was going to do when I went home.
Yeah.
Because it does change. And for me, I realized that I do need to be home for not a massive amount of time, because I love it here. I'm not gonna lie, I love it here. So I would like to obviously come back, but for me, I need at least a couple of months at home, and purely to see, friends and family, and do normal things like grocery shop or drive my car, because it's little things like that you don't really realize that you miss until they're gone, and you don't really have the freedom anymore to do things like that. So for me, those little things is going to be what's important for me when I get back home. So that was number one, because I think that's also the thing that scares dancers after cruise contracts is, if they're going to get rehired, when are they going to get rehired? Where? What shows are they going to be? Are they going to be with their friends that they know? And you kind of get in your head about it. So a lot of us are kind of like new to the company on, like, in my current cast now. So a lot of us, are going through that a little bit. Are we going to get rehired? But you just have to obviously just stay positive, because, you were hired for a reason. So that's kind of what that mental struggle is at the moment. Then going home, I mean, you can ask me when I'm home, because then that's the more realistic answer. But but personally, in between contracts, when I have been at home, I have realized, number one, who I want to see, hilarious, like who I want to visit when I'm home, and number two, like, if I want to work, where do I want to work? And number three, if I want to take class, where do I want to take class?
Yeah, it kind of narrows it down for you then, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so having these little in-between breaks, I didn't have time to be like, oh, let me try this class, or, oh, I've always wanted to do this class, or, oh, I always do this one. When I went home, for me, it was like, I have no time. This is what I need to do. This is what I want to do, because it's literally like, you get home, you unpack, you see your friends, your family, you got to go to this class, you got to go to the gym, and now I've got to pack and I'm off. So like, it's so like, it was so quick. So personally for me, I didn't have enough time to think about it. So it was kind of like then and there, it was like, what's your answer? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And like, so for me, it ended up being, like, like a company that I used to dance with all the time when I was at home. It was messaging that boss and going, hi, first of all, miss you, love you, Katya. But I was like messaging, that boss, and, letting them know when I'm home, and just going, when I'm home, I still want to dance, and I want to dance with you guys. Obviously when I'm home, still need a break. So I can't be, I personally, everyone's different. I personally don't want to be, out every single weekend gigging, because I just won't see my family. And then the moment you find out that you do have a next contract, you will only have like 3 to 4 weeks before you leave, because you won't find out if you have not usually anyway, that you have a contract in about 3 to 4 months. It's usually pretty like sudden. So so for me, it's like spending time with family. Who do I want to work for? And then also, like, because I've only got the month left, it's reaching out to different companies and saying, hi, like, even if they've never heard of you before, or if you've got mutual friends, but they don't know who you are, like, just messaging different companies and going, look, I'm going to be home between this date and this date. If you have any work available and you'd like to hire me, feel free to DM me, or this is my email, blah, blah, blah. If you have an agent, obviously just keeping constant communication open with your agent and letting them know when you're going to be home, what you're looking for in the next contract. Just be completely open with them. And seeing where that goes. But if there's choreographers that you've worked with before who do big events, it's kind of about just communicating and like socializing, like social networking, and just kind of getting your name back out there, because when you're here, you're constantly working, and you're not trying to find gigs on the ship. Like, you're hired as a dancer, this is your job, you do shows every week. So when you get home, it's going to feel weird because you don't kind of have that anymore, and you're just searching for gigs. It's back to not back to square one, but kind of sort of at the same time.
Yeah,
and it's scary. Of course it's scary, but definitely not doing the hard work, but doing your social networking before you get home, so then you know kind of that your name's been put out there.
Yeah.
And then then obviously it depends if you want to do it, if you want to do this again, you know. If you don't want to do it again, that just depends as well. But that's pretty much the mental thing. But I think my biggest thing is just be prepared, and just once it gets to like that 1 month, one and a half month mark, like just really getting into it. And if you don't have an agent, like if you want to look for one, like I would,
do it
look for one in advance, like not when you get home, because just in case you get sent off again. But there's always opportunities at home. They're just not obvious, unfortunately, like in Australia and especially in Melbourne. So I just definitely just would say be prepared. Yeah.
And going back onto the ship and stuff as well, with navigating like family coming on board. Like, I know your family's just been on with this ship. So how did you go navigating, seeing them, and also working and trying to balance your responsibilities and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm exhausted, Siobhan. I've never been so tired. So my dad, my brother are currently on the ship with me.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. I've been entertaining for a month and a half. But it's honestly been it's honestly been amazing. Like, especially for the ships that I've been doing, they've always been in America. It's expensive. It's a long flight. The cruises that we're doing are expensive because they're, 16-day Hawaii's, 10-day Mexico's. Like, they're not cheap. But my family, after doing the first two, really wanted to come and see what I do. And, sorry, I don't want to get emotional. But, okay, it's too late. There's tears in my eyes. So,
it's a very special thing.
But yeah, it's very, very cool. And, especially with Princess, the company that I'm currently with, I'm unable to work in Australia because our government made laws that Princess now have to abide to and pay for certain things, and they've just decided to they have enough crew, like cast, that they don't have to put Australian dancers in Australia. So I will, as long as I'm with this company, I won't work at home or near home.
Yeah.
So, my parents can't jump on a flight in Sydney and come see me on the ship for, like $200 and pay a nice little cruise. They have to pay, $3,000 for a flight here and back, which is just an absurd amount of money. And the dollar's absolutely horrible at the moment. But it's made it so special. And but I never thought that I'd be able to like share this with them. So it's been really beautiful to be able to like share with them my life and what I do on here, and my friends that have become my family, like them getting to meet them as well. Like, it does really make you emotional because it's such a special thing. And even I was saying to my dad's currently on board, and literally 10 years ago, roughly around now, I was 15 and we were on this tour called Dance Around the World, and we went to Florida and we danced at Disney World and we danced on a cruise ship, and I was literally 15. Like, we went on a cruise and like we did this, little performance in these weird ass costumes, and it's crazy because, you used to just look up to those dancers that were on those cruise ships as a 15-year-old. And I just, like, 10 years later and having my parents on a cruise ship whilst I'm working and, like, seeing what I get to do and seeing, what takes me away from them for so long, and, for them to also, because it's hard, like, it's not easy being away from your family. And I think
Of course.
people see, like it's it's the fuss, it's the facade, it's, on Instagram, the thriving and you're enjoying your life and you're loving your life. But the reality is that you don't have your people that you've had for so long at home with you. It's your friends and your family, and yeah, it's hard. So it's been a really amazing experience being able to show them what I do and for them to get to understand what I do as well, because the cruise ship life is very weird and out of the ordinary. So trying to explain it to people until you kind of experience it or you see it, it's a very weird one to explain. And telling your family this is why I'm away for 6 months of the year, 6 to 10 months of the year, they don't kind of understand, especially if they're not from performance background. That's also a really big one. They don't understand. They're like, yeah, but you just want to run away. Like, you're just running away. And I'm like, no, like, this is an opportunity for me. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely, I think, been eye-opening to like my family, to be like, yes, like this is why I do what I do. And even like walking past, and because I'm with them all the time, a lot of guests will come past and be like, oh, like, do you know her? Like, she works on the ship. And like my parents would be like, oh yeah, that's my daughter, she's one of the cast dancers. And they'll be like, oh, they're phenomenal and she's great. And like I think it's like, it's those little things where it's like, that's where they get to understand. So it's been very special, but I am exhausted. So been, not going out every night, but I like, going for dinner and showing them the game shows and showing them trivias and showing them the pools and, the ocean and, trying to show them the part of the islands that I know. And so it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So you got to spend like a lot of time then with them and everything as well. Like you manage to balance like your work and also seeing them a lot.
Yeah, so once again, like very lucky, like as a dancer, we do have a very relaxed lifestyle on board. So a lot of the times, like yesterday, I had the complete day off. And so I would just be like, all right, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go for breakfast? Do you want to go to this one? And my dad would be like, you don't have work at all? And I'm like, nope, not at all. And granted, some ships aren't like that, but for some ships they are, and we have a very relaxed lifestyle. So with them being on board, and a 16-day cruise with 3 shows, we have plenty of time. So yeah.
Oh, how special.
So it's been great. Yeah, they're crazy.
Oh, very special. Oh no, so nice. Well, it sounds like it's also like a full circle moment for you as well, and in your career and everything and that, which is so super special. Before we finish the episode, what is 3 things that you would tell the dancer listening that is important to know with just on the ship life? Like, what is 3 things that you would give them as advice?
Yeah. First thing is that I feel like people think it's the physical part of you that seems to not go, but is the hardest thing to maintain. But I think the hardest thing is, which I think we know more of nowadays, but is your mental health. And I think knowing what you need and how you deal with things, because it does get hard. And my first and third contract have been over Christmas and New Year's, and doing that without your family can take a toll on you, because you're without your people. And your birthday, your birthday is a weird one as well. Just as a random fact, one of our girls that joined this contract, her birthday was on the day we joined the ship. So we met her the night before, and she didn't say anything. And then we got on the ship and we were all like, oh, just like, when's your birthday? Like, just so then we know. And she's like, it's today. And we're like, oh my God. So like, it's a bit of a weird one, but sometimes it can take a toll on your mental health. So it's trying to, I think whatever you do at home might not work for you on the ship. So just keep that in mind, but keep working on it. Don't neglect it, because the more you neglect it, it's
You'll
not
spiral.
a good you'll spiral in it. It's not a good situation. So mental health is a big thing, making sure that you know what you need. And then also navigating around other people, because I think this is number 2, is is I would say is you're learning on the job. Essentially, you're learning on the job about everything, about your people, about the actual job. But the biggest thing, I think, is the people and how you manage things. And for example, I know I talk a lot, but I don't talk about my feelings a lot. And that was a big shock for my roommate, because I talk a lot, but don't talk about my feelings. And so sometimes I would be upset over something, either that someone else did or that she did, and I wouldn't talk about it, but I just wouldn't talk to her. And so, and she needs to talk. So it kind of became a thing where it was a few days where we were just kind of not like in a fight, but just in a bit of a tiff. And this was like when we first met, and she was like, okay, Dan, you need to say what's wrong, because I can't deal with this. And I went, oh, okay. And I was like, sometimes I just don't talk about it, and then I'll just like let it just kind of fades out, because that's just what, I just get angry over things. Like, it's not your fault. I just get angry over little things, and I just don't think I should get angry about them. So then I just let myself feel it, and then in a couple of days it'll fizz out. And she's like, no, I need you to tell me then and there. So it's navigating how people deal with things, because you live, work, breathe, sleep, like you're just all the time with these people. So it's really important to understand how other people function, and you also get to know how you function as well, because I had no idea that I didn't do that, because especially I live in a house full of boys, so we don't ever talk about feelings. So, that was something to get used to, learning how you function and how other people function. So, it's really just keeping an open mind. So, definitely looking after your mental health and what you need. Second thing is how to manage your feelings and other people's feelings, and also make people feel valid, as well as make sure that you're being validated as well. And number 3, I mean, it's just kind of obvious, isn't it? These cabins are small. They're quite small. So just when packing, like not pack light, because, you'd want to bring things, obviously, but I would say to not overpack as much as you think, because also you're away for so long, and if you think you're not going to buy things, you're kidding yourself. You're probably going to buy stuff. So especially as dancers, we get to dress up and things, so you'll want to go shopping and, yada, yada, yada. So my advice is don't overpack too much, because you end up just needing to pay for overweight baggage, and it's just expensive. It's just ridiculous. And most of the time there's things like, once again, I've got a month left of this contract. My friend Lexi pulled out something the other day. She's never worn it before. And she wore it to dinner, and I went, where did this come from? Did you just buy this? And she was like, no, I've had this the entire time. So, so, don't overpack. It's really not worth it. You're probably going to buy something. If you don't think you're going to buy something, you will buy something. So that's my third one, because it's a little lighthearted compared to the first 2.
No, I love it. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on another episode, and it's so good. And I think when you come back, we'll do like another one, maybe like an in-person, and get your perspective of being home and that transition. I think that would be very important as well. But no, I really want to thank you for sharing your perspective and coming on board again. And it's always nice to see you, always. I get to see you, so it's always great.
I know, it's just an excuse for us to catch up. So
literally, 100%. Like we said, like half an hour talking before, and then we have to get.
I know, and then 3 hours after, but yes.
No, exactly. Well, I can't wait to see you when you're home, and I hope that you enjoy your last month. And I'll see you when you're here. Thank you.
And then also just another thing, because I know that you tag me on Instagram when you post the thing. If anybody out there is listening and you have a question, or anything at all, feel free to DM me. Like, I really don't mind at all. Very chill.
Well, that's amazing.
So just
definitely DM her, guys. Like, so, definitely use that.
Because if you ask me a question, I won't shut up, I promise. So if you have anything you need to say, let me know. But thank you, Siobhan, for having me on. I've loved being a part of it.
No worries. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.